Hello, how are you doing today? It's Karine. This is the day that the Lord has made, and I will rejoice and be glad in it. So today is not absent of pain, it is not absent of joy, but they all work together for good. So today I want to commend all those parents who do not use their kids against their exes, no matter how tough the situation might be, especially when your kids are still, below 10. Those are the most crucial years to train kids. The Bible says, train your child the way they should go, so that when they grow, they will not depart from it. Sometimes we just memorize the Bible verses. We don't really use them as practicals. We don't practice it. So it's not all about giving kids food and clothes, shelter. It goes beyond that. Kids need training because they are kids. They're innocent. They are vulnerable. They don't know how to think, how to be on their own. But whatever you teach them, whatever you do repeatedly in front of them, is what they are going to become in the future. I know that sometimes we really don't get it. We don't really understand how the things we say or do in front of the kids will affect them. But to lie to your kids and to start waking them up in the middle of the night to use them against the other person, to follow them, to put your kids in the car and follow the other person around. Again, you're just teaching them to become just that. Right? We want to raise victorious kids. We want to raise kids who can think critically, resilient kids who can thrive. We want to raise conquerors. We want to raise kids who are able to take responsibility when they should. We don't want to raise kids who are liars. We don't want to raise kids who would just, because the truth is, at the end of the day, whatever it is that you teach your kids will just fall back on you. It is true that they'll go out there in the society, they'll bother the society, they might become a menace to the society. But all this will fall back on you because they're your kids and they live with you. They might become bullies in school. They might become liars. They might even become thieves. God forbid. God forbid. But we need to really, really watch how we treat our kids. I remember how a while ago I was telling somebody, don't do this in front of your child. And they were like, oh, this is just a child. They're not going to remember. It's not going to affect them in any way. But it will. It's absolutely going to affect them. You're right, they are kids, but you're wrong. It will affect them. Okay, this reminds me of Naomi's story in the Bible. That woman, oh, amazing. She's so level-headed. No matter what she was going through, she decided to not bring her daughters-in-law into it. She wanted to release them and let them go. She kept thinking of how, that woman is amazing. Right? So whatever we do, let's try to think. Let's be conscious about it. Let's understand that our kids are the future. We want the country to change. We want the world to change, but it starts with us. Every step we make, everything we say, whatever we do, it starts with us. How are you training your kids? To train your kids to be fighters doesn't mean that they should go out there and lie and just beat up everyone and become bullies. No, that is not the right fight. That is not the right way to fight. The right way to fight is to, first of all, teach them how to understand life, your situation, what you're going through, and how you will handle it. How to focus. How to let go of anger, bitterness, self-pity, and focus on the right things. This is the only way we can be sure that we did right by our kids, and then we can leave the rest to God. Because at the end of the day, we still have to leave the rest to God. It is not by our power, but let us try to not contribute to this behavior. Let us try to not contribute to the bad behavior of our kids, to the bad upbringing of our kids. No. I remember a while back when I was talking to my sister, I called her on the phone. Her kids were like 3 to 5 years old, and we're talking along the line somewhere. I said, "How are your kids?" She said, "My kids are fine." And then I said, "Oh, they are at that age where they are very stubborn." And she said, "No, don't refer to my kids as being stubborn. My kids are not stubborn. Don't use such words on my kids." At that time, I was a little bit angry, but then when I went back and I thought about it, I realized that she was right. She was perfectly right. We were raised in an environment where you just say things. You don't even think about what you're saying. But then, yes, she was absolutely correct. Let us mind what we say in front of our kids. Again, this day is not free of joy. It is not free of pain, but they all work together for good. Stay blessed and stay tuned.